Everybody seems to be worried about a recession. They're worried about a global slowdown. But look, that doesn't mean give up on your investments. So you might be wondering, what are the best ETFs to buy for a recession in 2023? Well, I've got 3 ETFs that have great yields. They hold great stocks. And you know what? They might be a good play if you're worried about the market having a lot of volatility next year. So when you think about recessions, a lot of investors are thinking about bear markets, right? We know we've had one in 2022. So I'm going to be referencing an older post that we have on MAPsignals.com where Alec Young, who writes our macro content, he did a really cool study about bear markets. Let's check that out. So he went back all the way to 1929, all the way through 2022, and he wanted to study a bunch of things about the market. How long did they last? How deep is the pullback? But more importantly, he wanted to see what are the best performing sectors. And there are 3 that he found going back nearly 100 years. The best sectors tend to be consumer staples, healthcare, and utilities. So those are the 3 areas of the market that I think make a lot of sense for a recession that could be upon us in 2023. So we know that consumer staples does outperform in bear markets. So I'm going to be looking at XLP. Now this is a consumer staples select sector spider fund. You're seeing a bunch of data here. Basically I've cracked open the ETF to look at those constituents, look at those stocks underlying the ETF. And you can see some well-known household names are in this ETF. Pepsi, Coca-Cola, Costco, Walmart, right? These are great big stable names. Let's look at those in more detail. So let's go ahead and look at the consumer staples ETF XLP. Last price is right around $74.36. On a 1-year basis, it's relatively flat, right? It started the year at 74 and change, and it's right about 74 and change here. So it's handling volatility very well. Now, if we come down here, we can see that the forward yield is 2.5%. That is very attractive these days. The last dividend payment was 53.3 cents per share, and it's been growing dividends for a very long time, right? Because the companies that it holds, they also grow their dividends. So if we look back at 2021, their dividend payment was 44.4 cents per share. So to go from 44 up to 53, that is pretty decent growth. And the ETF sports a next 12 month PE of just over 20 times. So it is more expensive than the market, but you're paying for quality. And if we look under the surface, one company that it does hold that is very solid is Coca-Cola, and the ticker is KO, right? Big soft drink maker. They've been around for so long. On a 1-year basis, the stock has been, doing relatively well, but the word I would use is stable. We can see that it has a forward yield of 2.8%. The last dividend payment was 44 cents per share, and that has been growing over a number of years. Warren Buffett loves this stock, and I can see why. If we look back at 2018, the dividend payment was 39 cents, so it continues to go up. That's what you want to see. The next 12 months PE, it is elevated compared to the market at 25 times, but again, very high quality company, especially if you're worried about a recession in 2023. By the way, if you like this type of content, make sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. It really helps us out. So let's get to the next ETF. I'm looking at the Healthcare Select Sector Spider Fund. The ticker is XLV. And here I've got it in the portal, and you can see there are a lot of big constituents in this ETF. United Healthcare, Johnny John, Pfizer, Lilly. I actually own some shares of United Healthcare. So a lot of quality companies that tend to outperform in a bear market. So listen, if you're worried about a recession, healthcare can be one of those great areas. Let's do a deeper dive on the ETF. All right, so healthcare tends to outperform in a bear market. So if you're worried about a recession, check out XLV. Now here we are, we're looking at a 1-year chart, and the ETF price right around 134 and change, and we can see that it started a year ago right about 137, so call it roughly flat. It pays a dividend yield of 1.48%. I think that is absolutely great. Then you've got dividend payments. The last dividend payment was 55.6 cents per share. We can see that that's been growing over time. Go back to 2020, that payout was 41.8 cents per share. So growing dividends, it must be holding stocks that are growing their dividends, and it does. The next 12 months PE, 17.3 times. So yeah, it is a little bit more expensive than the market, but again, super high quality. Free cash flow yield next 12 months, almost 6%, so that's attractive. Let's go ahead and look at one of those great stocks that are inside of XLV. We're going to be looking at Johnny John, right? Just this huge pharmaceutical company. And you can see on the 1-year chart, look, it started out December 20th at 167 and change. It's at 175 and change. So it is actually up on the year. We can see that by this chart. So it's greatly outperforming the market. And the last dividend payment was $1.13, and that's been growing over many years. Back in 2019, it paid a quarterly dividend of 95 cents. So that puts the forward year yield today at 2.57%. Very attractive in this tape. The next 12 months PE is just under 17 times. So that's right in line with the market. It's got a very solid free cash flow yield for the next 12 months of 5.33%. So this is a very solid stock, and why XLV, right? It pays to look under the hood at the quality of the companies, because Johnson & Johnson is very, very stable. Big history of dividend growth, great company. The next area that tends to outperform in a bear market, if you're worried about a recession, could be the utilities sector. I'm looking at XLU. That's the Utilities Select Sector Spider Fund. And it's got, look, Nextera, it's got Duke Energy. So it's got a lot of different names right now. And look, we all know that utility prices are going up, our bills are going up. These companies are going to be benefiting from that. Let's do a deeper dive into XLU. So let's go ahead and look at the Utilities Select Sector Spider Fund. Ticker is XLU. It's just under $70 per share, 69 and change. A year ago, that's pretty much where it was. It's basically flat on the year. That is a win in this tape. So in a bear market, utilities can outperform. So if you're worried about a recession, listen, one of the last places that consumers tend to cut are the lights. And listen, XLU, it packs a nice dividend yield of about 3%. You can see it had a dividend payment back in September of just about 50 cents per share. You go back to 2019, it was 43 cents per share. So you want to see that dividend growth, right? Those are the companies that are inside of this fund continue to increase their payouts. Now the next 12-month PE is about 18.6 times. So it might be a little bit more elevated compared to the market, but let's look at one of the stocks inside of it. And I'm going to be looking at Duke Energy. Ticker is DUK, and the price is right around $100 per share. If we go back to a year ago, it was about 103 and change. So the stock is down, call it 3-4% on a yearly basis. The forward yield is 4%. Now that is quite attractive. The last dividend that it paid was just about $1 per share per quarter. We go back a few years ago, look at 2018, it was 92 cents per share. So again, we want to see dividend growth. We look at the forward PE, it's at 17.7 times, so roughly in line with the S&P 500. And look, these are the types of companies that people turn to as investors whenever they're worried about recessions, they're worried about bear markets. So there you have it. If you're worried about a recession in 2023, there are 3 sectors that tend to do very well. They outperform. That's going to be healthcare, it's going to be utilities, and it's going to be consumer staples. Hopefully you guys have learned something here. We use data to uncover some great ETFs, but more importantly, they hold great stocks. So remember, none of this is personalized advice of any kind. Just want to show you how data can help you become a better investor. You guys remember to stay bullish long term. The market, the game, it is skewed to the upside. I will see you guys next time.
Yeah.